I know what you're thinking. There's no way that's the real Charlie White. Well, I'm here to tell you that yes, I am the real Charlie White. Maybe unexpected, but I'm here to talk about something that's so massive, so earth-shattering that I can't believe anyone's overlooked it. This guy named Cold School did a cover of Master of Puppets. And you know, when you think of Master of Puppets, everybody thinks of the classic television. You immediately think of Stranger Things. And if you don't, you've been living under a rock. So this guy went and did a cover of Master of Puppets, but he had the most insano style idea. He also had the most insano style idea ever. He went absolutely pro gamer, and he did a cover in the style of Suicide Boys. I'm not here to endorse any of the artists or songs mentioned here. I just had to talk about this because it absolutely just blew my mind. I didn't think I would be impressed at all by this song. I thought it would just be a lazy attempt at getting views and chasing clout. But actually, I was so blown away by the quality of this song that I had to change my pants. I was absolutely so unprepared for the genius of this track that it almost gave me a brain aneurysm. This track hits harder than in the Avengers when the Hulk grabs Loki and smashes him into the floor 18 times. This track is basically the experience of listening to anabolic steroids. This track hits harder than that kid's dad hit me at that wiffle ball game and broke my wrist. I'm not going to play the whole thing. If you want to go check out the full song, I highly recommend it. There'll be a link down in the description. I'm just going to focus on some of the highlights of the song and move on from there. First thing we're going to look at is the opening of the track. What this guy does is really interesting. There's so much attention to detail put into the opening and atmosphere of this track, and someone might think, oh, he's just laughing into a microphone and detuning it. But that's really not all he's doing. He's really creating the feel and expectation for the entire track coming up. And he really sets the stage for how the rest of this track is going to be with the first few seconds of this opening.
In the passion play, crumbling away. I'm yo, self-destruction.
Right away, he hits you with the stereo pan vocals, the ones that are real low and gritty, and sounds like the microphone's inside this man's throat, but I don't know how he did it, but it sounds fantastic, and it really sounds good on a stereo system. I've noticed on mono, it kind of sounds like garbage, but who listens to anything on mono? I really like how he capitalizes on the two dynamics you get when you listen to any Suicide Boys song. The low vocals that are a lot more creepy and whispery, and then the louder vocals that just kind of sound like a guy yelling out of tune at the top of his lungs. He nailed it. It sounds exactly like Suicide Boys, and it was a creative twist on the Metallica classic.
Obey your master, obey your master, obey your master, obey your master.
I'm gonna go ahead and say real quick, I like how he uses this filter before going into the chorus. It kind of brings everything down and makes you focus on what's going to happen. We're kind of just sitting there like, oh no, what's going to happen? And yeah.
Master of puppets, I'm pulling the strings. Twisting your mind, I'm smashing your dreams. Blinded by me, you can't see a thing. Just come on in because I hear you scream.
Yeah, I like how on the chorus he does both vocals. So you've got the loud yelling vocals and the low whispery sounding vocals. It's just a really cool dynamic. The first time I heard this track, I actually thought it was Suicide Boys. I took a double take, spit my water all over my monitor, and panicked a little bit. But it's not Suicide Boys. It's just a really clever stylization of Suicide Boys.
That's the thing that I've been after. You promised only lies. All I hear was the use laughter, laughing at my cries.
So the next thing I'm going to mention here is they break out of the Metallica format. There is no 18-minute guitar solo in this song. At first, I wasn't sure exactly why he did that, because when you think Master of Puppets, you automatically think about spending a half hour just listening to someone rip on the guitar. Looking back at it, I understand why the decision was made. This song is supposed to sound like Suicide Boys. It's not supposed to sound like Metallica. It's taking the song and making it sound completely different. So I understand why there's no guitar in it. I actually think it's a really creative take on the classic. A perfect example of this is going out of the second verse. He doesn't go back into the chorus as Metallica does. He goes straight into the third verse. and it's really brought down low. It's almost more of like a bridge type thing, and I think it's really interesting. Yeah, that's pretty much the track. It is kind of cool. On the last pre-chorus, he comes back in with both the low vocals and the high vocals again.
I will occupy, I will help you die. I will run to you, now I will you too.
It is worth mentioning that the last chorus has a little tag to it where the chorus repeats, but there's all kinds of automation on the voices to detune them and have vocal effects going as the song winds down. Anyway, that's about it, but I just found this track really interesting, so I thought I would talk about it. So yeah.